Happy Friday, Kickball League. You have Victor and I here on a special Friday edition of the Kickcast. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch us before the game time tonight. Put us on for your drive to the field or your drive home from work. What do you say, Victor? What's good, buddy?
Friday kickball kickcast rules.
Does it? Uh, I
They're
rushed
not
home
going to
from
like it
school
as
to
much.
see you. What's
They're not
that?
going to like it as much. This today we have like the dual camera action, so the show won't be as exciting as it was last week when it was all me. So now they'll have you half the time, but
Uh,
it's still kickcast.
I just missed my opportunity to take the opposite way of that. All right, let's start right away. Let's go with the scores from last week. We had lot of games that just were blowouts. They weren't exciting. Tommy's putting it down on DTF 13-3. One winning 15-0 against Kicking It Old School. PFK 14-0 against SK. Do it for the kids. And ball aside 8-3. We both said that would be the closest game of the week. It was the second closest. Balls deep. Victor's team first time ever having a real game against Whack-A-Mole, and they made it count 18-0. Ball aside wins 5-3 against Kicking It Old School, which makes that the closest game of the week. Victor, any surprises? Any surprises there for you?
I don't know. I think that it's pretty much you have all the favorites that won. DTF still hasn't shown up for a game. We got Bowl side that's 2-0. Right? No, not
No,
Bowl
no,
side. I'm
no. Do it for
sorry.
the kids. Do it for the kids.
Do for the kids is 2-0. I think that would probably be the biggest surprise. We have 3 shutouts on the board. That's kind of a big one. 3 solid shutouts. But then again, you look at the teams that it came from. You got PFK, Balls Deep, and one, and they're in that top tier we always talk about.
Hmm. My biggest surprise by far is that 5-3 in that ball side kicking it old school. Definitely the outcome I expected. I mean, as the winner being ball side, but I thought the experienced team would put it on kicking it old school a little more. Uh, Maybe this is a good sign for kicking it old school after playing against the only 2 champion teams in the league. Maybe they learned a little bit. I know we tried teaching them some things. I heard one tried teaching them some things. But 5-3, Victor, we both thought it would not be that close.
No, but like we said, Ball side though is this team that's been in the league for a couple of weeks. A couple seasons now. I think Matt is running that team, and he's kind of did everything. He's done more this season than he's done in the past, trying to get a hold of it. So perhaps they're starting to put it together.
Yeah.
I haven't had
Uh,
the opportunity to see him play, so
what's that? You haven't? Oh, I
I
haven't.
have not had the. No, not this season.
Yeah, I've Rafter played in just about everything. I got to watch a little bit of the DTF and Tommy's game where DT looked close in the first inning. They shut Tommy's down. I know that was one of our props, but after that, it was just all Tommy's all the time. Um, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about from last week?
The what was the we didn't talk about the props, what came in and what didn't.
Yeah, I know we had said shutouts. I believe you said one, I said two. There was three. We had the number of batters Tommy's would kick to have up in the first. They only had five, I was told. I said seven, you said nine. So I guess I'm more close or closer would be correct there. What was the other one?
My lead pipe lock of the week is what I like to talk about,
Oh
which was
God,
Tommy's given 7.5 runs over DTF. You didn't even if you put your money on that one, you didn't even have to watch the game.
yeah. And also, I had a report. I think it was Rob sent us about the kicking it old school, saying that they look like a completely different team after playing a couple. And there's Victor's Landscapers. Um, they looked a lot better in their third game than they had in the first, so it's a good sign. Um, yeah, congrats to Victor to getting his lock of the week. I think we can move on to next week's matchup now. Let's go with where's my schedule? First game we have one versus DTF. I have one as 9.5 run favorites. I have SK as 6.5 run favorites against Kicking It Old School. Balls deep. You are my game of the week against Tommy's, and you're 1.5 run favorites. Do it for the kids. The undefeated do it for the kids is playing against Whack-A-Mole. PFK is 10.5 run favorites against Ballaside. I believe it's my first time ever playing them. in the regular season at least. And then SK is 1.5 run favorites against DTF. Let's start with 1 versus DTF, with 1 is 9.5 run favorites. What do you say, Victor?
For the first time, I think ever, I'm taking every favorite on the board. I'll lay all the points. I'll take all the chalk, and all my money's on the favorites.
All of them. You're taking
every single one of them. I've been looking at it. Every single one of them.
Wow, maybe I need to set higher lines. I agree with you. I think 1 wins by more than 9.5. I think Sick Kickers. I think they do cover and they win. I'm taking Tommies to cover the 1.5 point spreads. I think you guys are a lot closer than you may think. And if you're giving me some points, I'm gonna take them because I see a tie game coming tonight. Do it for the kids. I'm gonna take them to win by more than 4.5. PFK, I always take them. And DTF, I am taking to cover against Sick Kickers. So we got a couple different there.
So you're taking 2 dogs, and I'm taking all the chalk.
That's all right. We'll see. We'll see who does better. Speaking of that last game, we got Sick Kickers with 2 games. What do you think about them, Victor? Where are they in your rankings? I think the top 4 we don't even have to talk about. So let's talk about that 5 spot. Is that where Sick Kickers are for you?
Yeah, I think that when we look at these teams and we look at this league this season, so far it's early. We're only 2 games in, but we're going to be knocking out some double headers by the end of today. We had a couple last week. I think that the league used to be split up between like what we always said about 3. Bless you.
Thank you, buddy.
3 tiers. So you had your elite tier that we talked about all the time with Tommy's, Balls Deep, 1, and PFK. And then we had that middle tier that was consistent of Sick Kickers, DTF, and we also had what was the other one we would have in there?
DTF, and then those were the main 2.
Those are the 2. Okay, so I think it's really it's still at 3, but I really think it's just my 5th best team in the league is Sick Kickers. I think that everyone else is in that bottom tier. It's up for grabs. If we did a social league and a competitive league like it was thought of this year, I think that bottom tier that would consist of Ball Side, Kicking It Old School, Whack-A-Mole, Doing It for the Kids, and now DTF, that would be your social league. And then you would have the top 4, and you would have Sick Kickers, which is, they're getting better. They play well. They've been playing well together. Eric is running that team now. They're organized. They're one of the more veteran teams in the league. But to answer your question, yes.
You say they're getting better, but they lost 14-0 last week.
Who did they play last week?
Oh, us, PFK.
Oh, okay. So
14-0 though. I mean, I did not expect it to go down like that. Bless you.
Oh man, it's catchy. Did you sneeze into the mic?
I tried not to.
First 2 weeks back at school, you got something already, and I'm getting it.
It's allergy season for me. My 5th best team is Do It for the Kids right now. I'm not buying into the hype that we've been saying that they could be one of the top teams. There is a significant drop off between 4 and 5. And mark your calendar to Friday, October 16th, when Do It for the Kids and Sick Kickers battle it out for who's the 5th best team in the league. But I think they're close, but I think Do It for the Kids is a little more athletic. Sick Kickers lost a lot of players coming into this season, and I think you're going to see them slide a little bit down the standings. I see them finishing 6th or 7th. Yeah, and I think you were talking about if we split up into a competitive and a fun. I just don't think it would have been worked out with these teams, because you got to think about if you split 5 and 5, whoever's that 5th team would have an awful, miserable season. They would just get crushed every game. I know you and Sick Kickers had a good game week 1, but that was week 1.
Well, here's the thing. If what you're saying is true, then what we're going to see here is when Sick Kickers plays Do It for the Kids, in your mind, that or in our evaluation of the 2 teams would be the battle for 5th place.
Correct.
When is that? Because that'll be the game.
October 16th. And I get
All
DTF
right.
is right there. I mean, I'm taking DTF to cover against Sick Kickers today. I think DTF is right there. Those 3 teams, there's not much separation. But that whoever that 5th team would be, if you split it up 5 and 5, they can't compete with those other 4. It would not be a fun experience for them. I'm sure I'll get some slack for that, but that's my opinion.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's time for you to be the bad guy, Nathan.
I'm always the bad guy. Uh, except I was until you joined. Um, anyway, let's move on to some props. I have a couple for you this week. Three actually. Where is it? Runs SK scores this week. So sick kickers. How many runs do they score? They play against DTF and they play against Kicking It Old School. Total runs.
Sick kickers, DTF, and Kicking It Old School. I'm going to say their total runs are 18.
18. Wow. They've scored 3 runs the entire year.
Who?
Sick kickers.
They've scored 3 runs all year. They have 2 shutouts.
No, they scored 3 against you and 0 against us. So they have 3 runs in 2 games, and you're taking them.
They played the 2 teams that don't give up. They give up the least amount of runs practically.
I know. I'm just saying they haven't scored. You're good. You're moving them from 3 to 21. I think they score a lot more, but I'm going to give them. Actually, 18 is actually pretty good. I'm going to say just under that, though. I'll say 16. Let's get 16.
Oh, so first
I know,
I'm like way off base.
No.
First, I'm the worst person in the world for predicting 18 runs, and then when you have to make your choice, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I forgot they were playing Kicking It Old School. Yeah, I'll say 16. Next one, I'm reffing this one DTF game. I like this prop from last week. Pat on my back. How many kickers does one get up in the first inning? They're playing against DTF.
I'm gonna say 7.
7, taking my number from last week. I'm gonna take 8. I think they put it on early. And last one I have for you for props. Then I have a trivia question submitted by Matt McClellan. Biggest blowout this week. Who you got?
Biggest blowout. Oh, that's a good one. I am going to say, I mean, one would think that you would go with the PFK game because that's the largest line of the night.
Yeah, it's PFK or 1. Both of those are close.
Yeah. I'm going to say 1 with the biggest blowout.
I'll go PFK.
Of course. I mean, of course. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go with 1 then?
Why wouldn't I? I mean, I think it's going to be close. I don't think either. Well, they're not going to be close, which makes the prop close. And then my trivia question. I just gotta make sure I read this correctly. What will be? I mean, sorry. Who had the worst record out of all the teams in the history of our league that made it to the Final Four? Do you understand the question? So the semifinals. Yeah. Who is the worst team that's ever made it to the semifinals?
In the history of our league.
In the history of our league, not counting the summer league, because everyone made the Final Four.
Okay, so is this a trick question? Because you know if anyone should know this, it would be me. You know that, right?
What do you think it is?
I think it was season 1. It was my team. Pitching it ain't easy. We went into the playoffs, I think, 3 games under 500.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it to the championship game against you and lost in extra innings.
You did not lose in extra innings. You lost. That was the next season you lost in extra innings.
Okay.
It was 5-3 or 5-4 in that game. It was
5-4.
Yeah, it was 5-3, and then there was that weird home run.
Yeah.
Someone's knee.
Someone's knee in the other field. Yeah.
Which is one of the funniest things I've seen.
You and I might be the only ones that remember that. So we can't talk too much about it.
Sean and Matt definitely do. But anyway, that was my guess, and it's not true. It's the same season though. You guys beat. Who'd you beat? Balmy maybe to get into the championship, or Fozzie's one of those two.
We beat both of them to get to the semifinals.
Yeah, whoever you beat in the semis. But actually, we played Contempo Ballers, I think they were called, and they only had 2 wins on the entire season. And fun addition to that, Matt said that both of those games were forfeit wins, so they technically never won a real game in the season.
So wait a minute, how many games did Pitch It Ain't Easy have that season?
I think you guys
we only had 2.
No, I think you guys were 3-5, and they were 2-6.
Oh wow, that was Margie's team.
That was Margie's.
That was the commissioner's team. So the commissioner made it to the semis without ever an actual win.
Yeah,
real win.
Well, they won. I think they won in the playoff matchup before. They upset Sweat Hogs, I think it was. They upset Sweat Hogs and made it to us. So they did have a real win in the playoffs, but never a real regular season wins. That's a great question from Matt.
So listen, I got some other stuff here too. Rob Hawkins had sent some stuff in. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see it.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we covered most of it. But one of his last questions I think is funny because I didn't even realize this when we were talking about it. But he just types in what's going on with sick kickers in DTF, which is kind of just what we talked about. Like, what's going on with these two? Yeah, we talked about it. But it's interesting that we're not the only ones who think this.
Well, the standings speak for themselves. And I think sick kickers you have to look at and be like, oh, they just played balls deep in PFK. But when you look at DTF, they have a loss against two of the kids, and they have a loss to a crushing by Tommy's, which they've had a good history against the Yoko/Tommy's teams. So that's the one that's more glaring. SK is just tough schedule. But yeah, good submission. If anyone else, he did tell us a little bit about the game that he reffed. Anyone else that watch a game want to talk about it, let us know. We're pretty open to that. Victor, you good? You got everything out?
I think, except for my lock of the week.
Oh, what is it?
So this week, I don't think this is going to be a big surprise, but the lock of the week is one. It's going to be my one pick. I mean, until DTF proves to me that they're going to show up and they're going to be more concerned with the game than they are their music, I got to pick against them.
So you're taking them to win by 9.5 as your lock in the week.
Yeah, because sick kickers hated me last season, so now I'm working on DTF to hate me this season.
They loved you last season because you picked them every week for the lock of the week.
Hey,
but this is fun.
There's no favoritism.
You are picking a double-digit victory today as your lock of the week. DTF. There's your bulletin board material. Victor's big face right there. I can't wait.
We just need Rob Hawkins to cover that line of 9.5 and make it, and so it doesn't make a liar out of me.
Yeah, I am reffing, so we'll see what I can do. All right,
take care of it.
All right, that's it. We'll see you at the field. Hopefully you get to see this show. Post it. I'll post it, Victor. All set. Goodbye.
Bye.